What up, Depth Chart? It's your boy, young broadcaster Jared Young, here on the set of the 2 Point Perspective with my co-host Miles Sweeney. And finally, we are here, episode 1. Miles, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I'm so excited to finally get this started, man. I'm excited to welcome everybody in here, and I'm just ready to hit the ground running, man.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Big shout out to our producer, Dylan Mooney, for helping us out. Dylan's behind the camera. You can't see him right now. But we're hoping to get Dylan a mic here very soon so that he can jump in every once in a while and give us a little quip. But Miles, tell me a little bit about how you're doing, man. What have you been up to?
I'm doing good, man. Just been working, getting ready to go back to school. This past weekend, I just went to an Old Dominion concert up in Lake Tahoe. It was gorgeous, and I know you're going there soon, so I don't know if you've been to that venue, but it's really nice.
I haven't, but I have seen Old Dominion before. Yeah,
I think you said you didn't really like them.
I think at the time I didn't. I like a lot of their newer stuff.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. It was probably like maybe 6 or 7 years ago that I saw them. So they've come a long way since then.
Yes.
And I've learned to appreciate their music. So.
Well, you've been seeing a lot of concerts that you do like.
Yeah.
Concert guy.
I actually 3 hours ago I got back from Sacramento. We saw Shinedown. Bush opened for them. If you guys don't know Bush, I got a little clip for you. Got a beautiful taste. Don't let the days go by. Little Bush clip for you guys. It's the second time that I actually saw them open, and man, the lead singer of Bush is just awesome, man. He's got so much energy, and he's always just like running through the crowd. He like dives off stage and just starts running up and down the bleachers. He's done that at both concerts that I've seen him at, and it was pretty great. Shinedown was also obviously pretty great. So if you guys know me, then you know that I'm a big rock fan. I love music, but rock definitely has a special place in my heart. So, but you know what, I think it's time to just jump right in, man.
Let's do it.
Yeah, our first segment today, guys, is the roster shakeup. On the roster shakeup today, I'm going to start us off, Miles, if you're cool with that.
Absolutely.
I got Mr. Scary Terry. Terry McLaurin. He wants out of Washington. He's not about what's going on over there anymore for whatever reason. He really wants that new contract. I'm surprised. He's got Jaden Daniels back there, and now he's got Debo to kind of take some pressure off of him. I'm surprised that he wants to make that move, but I guess it's all about the money, isn't it?
Well, man, it's just I've seen reports that obviously he wants $30 million or more than that, but I've seen reports that Washington's offered 27, and it's hard to say that it's not about the money. Obviously, he's one of the best receivers in the league. He's always been productive since he's came in the league, and he finally has a good quarterback to be getting in the ball. He was by far the best playmaker last year. And I don't know. It's like, are you willing to take a couple mil less than you could get to stay with a growing team and grow along with your receiver, with your quarterback, especially when you're approaching 30?
Right.
I mean,
right. And I sympathize with Washington fans because I felt the same way with Brandon Ayuk. I know, the Niners were offering him 27 and he wanted 30, and it's so, same situation. Terry McLaurin comes into this season posting some pretty big numbers from last year. 1,096 yards, 82 receptions, and 13 touchdowns. They're definitely going to miss him over there if they can't make him happy with the price point. Do you have any thoughts on where he might go?
Honestly, man, I thought I was a big advocate for the Chargers, but seeing as they signed Keenan Allen, which we'll get into later, I'm really not sure. Maybe the Raiders, but I really do not know. I wouldn't even be surprised if they just bite the bullet and sign him, which I think they should do, because make your sophomore quarterback's job easier.
Totally.
With adding a new weapon, as you said, in Debo Samuel. That's going to make his job so much easier. And I really don't understand the whole thought process here, but it's a wild card. I can see him go anywhere, or I can see him stay.
Well, and the thought process really from both sides. Like in my mind, it's kind of a perfect match, with Jaden Daniels and I don't know. You got a couple other guys on our roster shakeup, Miles. What? Take it away. What else you got?
We got the boy from Dallas, Micah Parsons himself. I really do not understand. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy that this has been messy because Jared and I are
we're big Cowboy haters over here.
But Micah Parsons has continually showed you he is one of, if not the best defensive player in the league.
Mm-hmm. But this is classic Jerry Jones.
It is,
right?
Yeah, he's totally inept, which again, I'm glad. But talks with the front office were always a bit shady ever since he started going into this. They were asking him to speak without his agent present, and Mike has been doing everything in his power from what he's said. He wants to stay in Dallas. He wants to remain a Cowboy, and they just aren't being very progressive with their negotiations in the front office, which I don't understand. And it hurts to see, CD gets paid, Dak Prescott he's the most expensive player in the NFL now, and Jerry Jones gloats about that.
Ridiculous.
He gloats about that, and it's like, well, why not pay one of the best at his position where Dak is, good regular season quarterback, but he's not taking Dallas over the hump when it matters,
right?
As opposed to a guy like Micah could. So, Jerry Jones, man, I know Cowboy fans are over him, and I don't blame him. I know what it's like to have bad ownership in the desert. Right. But yeah, it's just, you can't help but feel frustrated for him because he's done everything he can. He wants to stay in Dallas, and they're just kind of giving him the cold shoulder here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, definitely. Another guy that we're going to talk about here on our roster shakeup, Mr. Noah Fant. Super pumped for my boy Noah. Moving over to the Bengals on a 1-year, $2.75 million contract. I was curious to see how things were going to work out when he came over from Denver. Obviously, Seattle's where not quarterbacks, but tight ends go to die. And so we knew he wasn't going to get a lot of action there. I'm really excited to see what he's going to do with Joe Burrow under center. Last season he had 48 receptions and only 1 touchdown.
Yep.
So that's, those aren't the kind of numbers that you want to see from a tight end of his caliber. And I'm curious to see what kind of fantasy impact he's going to have over there with the Bengals.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is Mike Gesicki still there? This is a bad podcasting, but if Gesicki is still there, Fant's not going to have too much pressure on him. But if he's not there, if he's going to be taking these reps with the ones, earning a starting job, and he's going to have Higgins and Jamar next to him, his job's going to be a lot easier, especially with a guy like Burrow throwing him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very pass-forward offense coming from a Seattle offense that was a bit more balanced. Maybe it leaned more towards the run game. So,
and Cincinnati doesn't shy away from the run.
No,
and they've
don't.
got a strong run game over there too.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think it's a little more balanced.
Yeah.
Who else you got on your roster shakeup, Miles?
I got another elite pass rusher here, another sloppy situation. Going back to Cincinnati, we got Trey Hendrickson.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, this just goes back again to poor ownership. Mike Brown, just front office miscommunications with, again, another elite defensive end in this league. He's put up 35 sacks in the last 2 years, and their defense has been pretty bad, but he has been the lone stalwart over there. And again, similar to Micah Parsons, you see Jamar Chase get the bag. You see T. Higgins get the bag. Yeah, okay. So our boy Dylan reminding us, Gesicki, yeah.
Is in Cincy.
Yes.
Yeah, appreciate that, Dylan.
Yeah, thank you. But even outside of Trey Hendrickson's team, seeing other guys get the bag, we see older defensive ends, pass rushers, Myles Garrett and Max Crosby getting these huge deals when they're all around the same age range. It's frustrating for Trey Hendrickson to be like, hey, what's going on? I've been putting up Defensive Player of the Year numbers. And again, he's getting the cold shoulder. And I think the main issue is stemming from guaranteed money, and they're scared to pay a guy who's that old. But, when your defense is that bad, you need to retain your elite players especially if you're going to be trying to make a run with the offensive core that you have. So again,
right.
just
And, in last
ownership.
season, we saw the Bengals too. They were shining on offense, and their defense was letting them down drive after drive after drive. And, so that's really disappointing. Something that you mentioned, and I don't want to say, I'm not saying that the Bengals are mismanaged. I think that they have a lot of star players, and they have some tough decisions that they have to make too financially. As a Niners fan, I can absolutely relate to that. But, when you see teams fail over and over and over and over again, that is a systemic front office issue.
Absolutely.
Right. Clearly the Browns, right? Systemic front office issue. There are lots of teams around the league too that face that. The Bears are another one. That's not coaching. When guys are constantly rotating through coaches, when they're constantly rotating through, I said guys, but teams are constantly rotating through quarterbacks, it's not coaching, man. There's a front office issue there. There's a systemic issue.
Well, and sorry to jump in before we move on. They drafted Shamar Stewart out of A&M, I believe, right? It was it was A&M. And it wasn't like he was putting up gaudy stats sacking the quarterback, but maybe they had some sort of vision that they draft him, he comes in and he's going to be the heir apparent to Trey Hendrickson whether they re-sign him or not.
Right.
But you see that situation was handled poorly. He didn't get signed until like the very last minute. They were having issues with his contract, and again, that was all about guaranteed money as well. So it's just complete mismanagement and front office malpractice for Cincinnati, and I can't help but feel for them because they were just in the Super Bowl a handful of years ago, and then they've been kind of on the downturn since then. But it's
right.
It makes me feel better seeing teams mismanaged where again, Cardinals on the rise. I've had to deal with that a lot. You not so much. You've been a little spoiled in the Bay Area.
Hey,
but,
man, I love John Lynch.
Oh yeah, that
dude, man.
He knows how to manage a team for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I'd like to move on if we can to one of my favorites. Your next one is definitely my favorite, but this is my second favorite of our roster shakeup. But Mr. Tua Taua out of Nevada got signed by the Browns. We're really stoked on that. He played 3 games with the Michigan Panthers. He was averaging 4.1 yards per game. So really excited to see what he's going to do over there in Cleveland. And congratulations to Tua Taua.
Absolutely, yeah. For those of you who don't know, we got Northern Nevada bias here. So seeing a guy from UNR be able to come up from the UFL and get a chance on a Browns roster that actually they need good backs. I love Nick Chubb, but it's so unfortunate seeing him go down with these injuries.
What a horrific, and the last one too. What a horrific injury. I mean, if you guys saw that, if anybody saw that, then you know what I'm talking about. But I don't even know if you probably can't even find a video of it now because of how horrific it was.
Yeah, it was bad. Prayers out to Nick Chubb, man. But Tua Taua, I hope he hits the ground running with the Browns because it's always really cool to see a Wolfpack guy in the league be able to represent. So
yeah, absolutely. All right, it's time to move on. This is my favorite one, and I'm really excited for you to talk about this one.
We're getting to the meat and potatoes here. So Christian Wilkins, he's always been a very funny, very freaky guy. I'm sure you've seen the videos of him talking on the field, the sidelines. He's a charismatic guy, but I think he took a step too far here. I would love.
Can we talk about what if our viewers don't know? Can we talk about what got him released from the Raiders?
So it was a multitude of things, but the things that were headlined was that he was kissing a teammate on the head during team meetings. Obviously, that teammate felt uncomfortable and filed a complaint, and it had to go to HR. You don't hear that a lot in HR dispute on an NFL organization, but man, it's just really weird. And I know a lot of other things go into it. They think he didn't rehab from his injury that well. And I remember that was the whole thing when he was a free agent. Like
Right.
he was one of the best D tackles on the market, and he was always healthy. He was always available. Goes to the Raiders, signs that huge contract.
Well, and you got Max Crosby though at the same time coming out saying some pretty interesting things.
Yeah, talking about the kissing booth thing,
kissing booth in the shower.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really weird, man. Definitely not something I expected, but not surprising that it was Christian Wilkins.
Right.
Like that dude's always been a little freaky.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious to see where he's going to go. I'm also curious to see if that 30+ million is going to be voided because of that rehab issue.
Didn't he filed a grievance with the NFLPA?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We will see. The NFLPA is kind of in a weird spot now too. They're kind of going through it a little bit. Cool. Well, we have a short list as well of just some other notable players that are still available. Miles, you have that list?
I do, yeah. So, couple of receivers. We got Odell still on the market, Amari Cooper. We got safety Justin Simmons, and still got Stephon Gilmore on the trade block here. Keenan Allen was on that list until yesterday, signed that 1-year, $8.5 million deal with the Chargers. And
back home,
back where it all started. I like that signing. Me and Herbert still have that rapport. He's going to help out a young receiving core of Quentin Johnston and Ladd McConkey. And I wouldn't even be surprised if they signed him seeing Quentin Johnston still struggling with the same issues he's had with dropping the ball. It's like, okay, we need a reliable, obviously number 3, but a number 2 to take over if Quentin can't get his stuff together.
I'm sure Keenan Allen's happy to finally not be working with a rookie quarterback again.
Yes, yeah. I mean, going back to where he was drafted, I know he wanted to be on the West Coast too. Right. And this could very well be his farewell tour, but I like that signing for LA. I really do. But seeing these other receivers, Odell and Amari, I don't know if they're going to get picked up before the start of the regular year. I think that might be a break glass in case of emergency situation where, a number 1 goes down, or just the receiving core is showing inexperience and a lack of production to where, hey, we need to sign a veteran like an Amari or an Odell.
And I'd be surprised to see Odell get picked up early on in the season, but I think Amari Cooper is going to get picked up early.
Absolutely,
maybe in like the first 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. I bet somebody signs him somewhere.
He's got the fresher legs,
right?
So, but then you got the defensive backfield and Justin Simmons. I like Justin Simmons, man. I know the whole thing was about like safety's not really a premier position anymore, and he was getting paid like one, but he still has some juice in him, man. Yeah. I'm really curious to see not only who picks him up, but how long. And then Stephon Gilmore, I think he's been getting a bit too much praise,
well, and
in his 30s.
I was going to say, he's been around for a while, man. He's getting close to that retirement age, so we'll see what happens there. I just want one more quick thing. I know we're talking a lot of football here, but I want to throw in one little basketball quip. Pretty stoked that my boys over in Boston made a pretty decent trade. Niang for and 2 picks, 2 future second rounders for R.J. Lewis from the Jazz, rookie R.J. Lewis out of St. John's. Man, I love that pickup for them. St. John's was I bragged to everybody that St. John's was going all the way. They're going all the way. And they absolutely did not go all the way, but I had full faith in them, and I really liked St. John's throughout the regular season as well of the college season. So, just one last little quip there about basketball before we move on. So
you and me both, man. You and I didn't have them going all the way, but I believe I had them at least in the Elite Eight.
Right.
That was a bracket buster for sure. But good player for, a really good team last year who did not live up to the expectations. So that's a good trade for Boston, especially with the departures they've had. They've had to give up because of the second apron. So you know, good for your boys. As disgusting as it is for me to say that, I'm not a Celtics guy, but yeah, let's move on. Do you want to take over the biggest winners and losers?
Yeah, biggest winners and losers of the week. I'm gonna take the winner, and Miles will take the loser. I know he's excited for that. But biggest winners of the week. We're going to go back to my 49er roots a little bit and just look at Mr. Trey Lance, who showed out in his first preseason game. 13 for 20, 120 yards, 2 TDs, 114.6 quarterback rating. So good to see him out there. I mean, I know he's playing against third stringers, right? But I mean, he showed out. So happy for him. I know he had a tough time in San Fran, and some people say that was one of the biggest busts of all time.
I'll say that.
Yeah. I mean, it hurts to say, but I don't disagree with you. I mean, he played like no college, had like basically no college experience coming out of COVID, and then we don't have to get too deep into that, but I'm happy for him.
Yeah, I mean, well, playing against Trey Lance is a guy that needs that confidence,
right?
Because he's been through the gutter since he's been drafted. So to see him go out and perform well, and Jim Harbaugh loves the guy,
right?
I think that was a good pickup, and it's hard to hate Trey Lance. So yeah, ultimately good for him, man. It's cool to see those kind of resurgent players. Obviously, it's preseason, but
well, did you get to watch the game by chance?
I watched some of it. I was at work while watching it, so it didn't have my full attention, but especially after it kind of became a blowout. But
yeah, that number 2 spot for quarterback on that Chargers roster is going to be an interesting race. I really liked how he just kind of took control of the field. And so yeah, I'm pulling for Trey Lance. I also like Taylor Heineke, but I'm pulling for Trey Lance. So go ahead, Miles. Who is our biggest loser of the week?
The biggest loser are none other than the Cowboy fans. Hard to feel bad for him, but man, when you got Jerry Jones pulling the strings, I mean, you're just going to be left smashing your head against the wall because they're watching. And I would even include not only Cowboy fans, just Dallas fans in general.
Yeah.
Because if Micah Parsons gets dealt, this is going to be 2 players in under a year, like 2 stalwarts to that city, and Micah and Luka Doncic just being dealt, like,
Talk about mismanagement of your franchises, man. Dallas has had a tough year for sports.
Yeah. I mean, I don't lose sleep at night over it. So,
I'm sleeping like a rock over here.
Yeah. Biggest losers, Cowboy fans. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think it is time for our dual threat bet. So you guys don't know this yet, but our dual threat bet is going to be money lines that we are picking. We put a bunch of them into our prom crown, our prom king crown here. Right now there are currently 6 bets in this prom crown. And Miles, what did we say the punishment was going to be at the end of the season? Did we decide on a cold plunge?
We could also extend any options to you guys on the depth chart. If you guys have any interesting punishments we could do, we'll also get into our fantasy punishment. That's pretty brutal.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. I think that's a great idea. You know what? Anybody who's listening, why don't you guys go ahead and give us a couple options for our dual threat bet punishment at the end of the NFL season. Every single week, we're going to pick a money line for different things, and we'll each get a different one. And at the end of the season, we'll count up our wins and losses, and whoever has the most losses will endure the punishment.
Yes.
So go. You know what? We'll post later today, and go ahead and comment on that post, and we will pick whichever one is our favorite. Not whichever one is going to be the easiest, I promise, but whichever one is our favorite. I'd really like to see Miles do some embarrassing things. So, but right for now, we have our dual threat bet 6 preseason money lines in here. So Miles, go ahead. Pick the first one out of the crown. Do you know the story behind this crown, Miles?
I do, Mr. Prom King. And did we say that the winner will be wearing this crown?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, on every week, the winner can wear the crown.
Okay. I'll let you draw yours, and then I'll tell you.
Before you tell me?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm nervous. There's one in here that neither of us are excited to get, so I hope that I don't get it.
Sigh of relief I didn't get that one.
Here, I flipped this one on accident. All right,
Mr. Jared. I got Abdul Carter 3+ sacks throughout the entire preseason. So I like the odds of that. He's been kind of tearing it up at Giants training camp. So I'm not too mad about that. 3 might be make me a little nervy, but I
mean, one per game. I think you can get 1 per game pretty easily, especially against 2 and 3 stringers.
Yeah,
I could definitely see that happen. The one thing that might stop him is if they pull him early.
That's what I'm worried about, or they don't play him every game.
Right.
So I'm gonna need him to have like 2 in the first game. They play him 1 series in the second, and he gets 1. And I can breathe a sigh of relief. So,
well, I am pretty confident that I'm getting a dub this week. I think this is probably the easiest one that we put in there. Travis Hunter +1 interception. I'm pretty sure that we can count on that. I'll be pretty bummed if not, but I'm pretty confident. So we have the whole preseason for him to get 1 interception. I think we can make it happen against some 2-string quarterbacks.
All right, Jacksonville, you know what to do. Line him up at wideout, please.
Hey, man, he's having a great time over there. I'm hearing really good things out of camp right now. It sounds like he is just really staying humble, working hard, taking advice from veteran players. So they sound pretty happy over in Jacksonville.
And he's dynamic as hell.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be fun to watch.
Watch your profanity.
Sorry about that. Yeah, well, I'm glad you're happy with that, but I'll be happy when I'm 1-0 next week. So
right on, man. Well, next week you won't be 1-0.
Well,
you think he's going to get 3 sacks this week?
3 sacks for a series?
Really?
That'd be pretty cool.
All right.
It's not going to happen. But.
I mean, we can make another bet right now about that if you want.
Oh gosh, we're going to add on to this. We want to double down.
How
about we wait on that? I think we should wait on.
Now he's scared.
Well, I'm trying to, like Travis, I'm trying to remain humble here. I don't want to go up 2-0. We got a lot of weeks ahead of us. So, but yeah, I think like doubling down on a bet should be saved for the NFC West showdowns, because we got that 2 times a year. So
I agree. All right, guys, it is time to talk about fantasy. Why don't we start off by talking about what the fantasy football punishment is for the league that we're in over at Colin Club. By the way, if you guys don't know, that's how Miles and I met. We both I don't want to give away too much personal information, but we both met working over at Colin Club, we just clicked. Honestly, we did this a lot.
Yeah.
We sat there all night long, basically just talking about football and basketball.
Yep.
And one day I just looked over at him and I said, "You want to just do a podcast?" And it just happened. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's how the idea was born. So, all right, let's get into fantasy. Go ahead and talk about the punishment, Miles.
All right, guys. Well, before we dive into that nightmare, the winner of the fantasy league will be getting a custom jersey. So we're each doing a $20 buy-in going into draft night, and that's going to be used towards the custom jersey at the end of the year. I'm kind of worried that might be a punishment in and of itself, because we're not exactly playing with the most mature people. So if up on the jersey, going to make us not want to wear it. But
yeah, it's going to be a Patrick Mahomes jersey or something.
Well,
some people might like that. I don't know, not I.
I'll use that for firewood. That would be my reward. So our punishment, guys, is the loser has to go to a stand-up comedy place downtown, and we're gonna have to tell jokes written by everybody else. And I believe the what was it they said? You can't exit the stage until you're booed off or you get 5 laughs in a row.
Yep.
So again, not the most mature people. So, we're a little worried we might get canceled and or killed.
Yeah, so. We got to make sure that nobody records that. Because, I definitely am not looking to get canceled. If we were telling the jokes, I would feel okay with it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a shy person. I could get up there and tell some jokes, but having jokes written by these guys, I'm scared.
Well, and I assume we're not going to get pre-approval for this either.
Oh,
we're probably not even going to go up there and know what the jokes are. They're going to hand us a sheet of paper and say, "All right, you got to read these." Like,
well, if I'm not the loser, I don't want the jokes to be pre-approved either.
Yeah, no, it takes the fun out of it, but
I'm not worried about it, dude. I'm not worried about it
Well, maybe I should be a little worried about myself. It. We'll get into that. So.
I saw how these other guys are ranked on Yahoo. I'm not scared.
Well, you're a very seasoned fantasy veteran. I mean, you're in multiple leagues every year. I, for one, haven't played fantasy in a long time, and even back then, I was so young. Back then, I barely even knew what I was doing. But yeah, coming back, Jared and I did a mock draft, and it was not the prettiest of mocks on my part.
Miles ended up with 4 tight ends.
In my defense, I didn't realize I was in a back-to-back. I had back-to-back picks, so one of those tight ends was by accident, but that still leaves 3, which is not the most desirable. But
so let's jump into that for a moment, though, because here's the thing: having 3 is not always the worst thing in the world either, though, because if you are just taking the best player at that spot in that moment. Right, like you're feeling solid with your starting wide receivers, feeling solid with your starting running backs, and you're just taking the best player at the position, and it happens to be a tight end, and you already had a couple or something. That's trade value right there.
Absolutely,
especially late in the season. If somebody has not a very good tight end, or their tight end goes down, that's a big position. That's a big open hole, and it's really tough to fill late in the season. So whoever's stacking up the tight ends is going to have some good trade value, and they're probably going to get a lot of offers. So it's not the worst in the world. It's not the direction that I typically go when I'm doing my drafts.
And it wasn't the worst, because I'll read you guys who I ended up getting at tight end. I got Brock Bowers, Sam Laporta, and Colston Loveland. So, at least 2 out of those 3 guys are going to have really good value. But my other Achilles heel, and I think you fell victim to this a little bit too, was the bye week. We matched a lot of bye weeks with our picks.
Right.
So basically, week 8, I was just going to be like, just hand whoever I'm playing a win, because my majority of my starting lineup was going to be out that week.
Week 8 and 9 is going to be brutal for fantasy. I think just across the league. I think that's going to be really tough for a lot of people. That you got Philadelphia, you got Jacksonville. There's also the Rams. So week 8 and 9 is going to be really tough. Also Tampa is another week 9. So some big names teams that hold a lot of fantasy value on their rosters are going to be on their bye weeks. It's going to be interesting to see how people fill those holes.
You're going to have to get creative.
Something else I noticed late was that there was a lot of wide receivers hanging around. So some fantasy advice from my end. I would say hit the running backs hard early. Maybe snag a quarterback around 5 or 6, but don't jump early for a quarterback either. Hit the running backs hard, and take maybe a top wide receiver with your 3rd pick or something like that. But 1 and 2, I'm saying running backs, because they are pretty light late. Obviously, there are always guys that come out of the woodwork around mid-season and take over injured players and stuff. But you know, I right out the gate, I went with Derrick Henry and Kyron Williams. So I was really happy about those picks. You know, and I was sitting around 5. So, you know, not too upset about that. You had the number 1 pick, right?
I did, and that's why I can't believe that I forgot I was going to have a back-to-back because I picked first. But yeah, I believe my first 2, I took Saquon first for sure, and I believe my second was Jackson Smith and Jigba. But then after that, I forgot I had the back-to-back, and then I accidentally took Chris Godwin right after, who is currently on PUP. So you know,
if he comes back though,
he's still
dude, he's gonna have a solid season.
I need to polish off my my year's worth of rust, and you know, I'm gonna pray that Jared will have mercy upon my soul and give me some advice.
Well, I'm going to help you out because I'm not trying to get our podcast canceled right away, and I don't want you having to read any of those jokes from those guys. I'm not saying that I want you to get like first or anything, but
I don't know,
maybe like 9th out of 10. You know, maybe just
anything but
just keep you off the bottom.
Yeah,
whatever we got to do there. Sorry, we're colluding here already. We're putting this out publicly. They're going to be not very happy with us over there at the Colin Club Fantasy League. All right, one more guy that I want to talk about. It's a guy that I picked up pretty late in the draft. I think he's going to be a sleeper for this season. It's Emeka Egbuka. Sorry if I'm saying his name wrong. It's a tough one, but you know, I really like this guy. He got drafted by Tampa out of Ohio State. 81 receptions, 1,011 yards. And 10 touchdowns. Really looking forward to seeing what he's going to do this season. We're hearing really good things out of camp from him. Miles, is there anybody that you're keeping an eye on late, or
honestly, I'm just I really haven't done too much research. I'm just going to be hoping for the best.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of put you on the spot.
No,
there.
you're fine. I'm going to be holding on for bated breath here. So.
Yeah. One mistake that I make a lot of the time when I'm drafting my fantasy team is I pick up too many Niners. I always do it.
It's hard to not be a homer.
Yeah, totally. You know, so if you are a football fan, try to put your bias to the side if you can. It's going to help you out down the stretch, because even if you're going with a Super Bowl team, you know, even if you're filling your roster with Philadelphia Eagles, guess what? They're all going to have the same bye week.
Exactly.
So try to mix it up. Keep an eye on your bye weeks. Don't pick up 4 tight ends. And and hit the running backs hard early. They're wide receivers late. They're sitting there down at the bottom. So around rounds 7 and 8, there was a lot of value sitting down there at wide receiver. So
all right, alrighty. Shall we move on to the hot take section here? Oh no is right.
Oh no.
You had a really good hot take, and
I'm excited to give it. I want to hear yours first, though.
Well, like I said earlier, I wanted to make it 49er related, just to get ruffle the feathers of Mr. Young Broadcaster here.
Bring it on, man. Bring it on.
I don't want to say you guys are going to be last in the division. I think that would be, but
emotional damage.
I'm going to say third, just because you can't ignore the Rams, and then between Seattle and Arizona, I just, speaking of homerism, I'm gonna say the Cardinals are coming in at least second in the division. What a facelift on their defense, and they have. Bring it on, man. Bring it on. What a great facelift for that defense, especially the defensive line, and they believe in their offensive core. They are trotting out the same exact offense as last year. They believe in their playmakers. They need to evolve as an offense, and I think they will. They have a far easier schedule, not as easy as San Francisco, but I think they can take advantage of playing the garbage NFC and NFC South. So I'm going to say 49ers are at least finishing third in the division this year.
I could not disagree with you more. And I'm gonna tell you why right now. I am not saying that they're gonna get first, right? We cannot ignore the Rams.
Yeah.
The Rams are looking pretty tough over there. You know how I feel about Matthew Stafford. I love Matthew Stafford. But, dude, we're looking at the fourth place schedule.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at, even though I know we lost a couple of guys, but we got Robert Saleh back there, calling the plays on the defensive side. And our secondary is looking top tier right now. So the things that I'm seeing right now out of our secondary, out of training camp, feeling really, really positive about some of the younger guys that we have. We're still bringing back Fred Warner. We still got Bosa on the defensive line. We have some injuries on the offensive side of the ball, but that's mostly at wide receiver, and the 49ers have been a running team. I really like Isaac Orindo. We're getting Christian McCaffrey back, so I'm feeling pretty confident about what we can do. I know you're smiling about Christian McCaffrey right now, man, but he's still got one more season left in those legs. He's still got one more season left in those legs.
Maybe not a full one, but well,
Emotional damage.
I won't go into that this episode, but
You'll save that for.
We'll save it for when we see it.
Okay.
If he comes out and he's like the same old CMC, I will eat crow. I'll have egg on my face, but I think he's gonna. You saw it last year. I think it's gonna continue into this year of a regression. So.
Well, to continue on with my rebuttal, Seattle's obviously last. I think we can agree there. But your Cardinals, I think, are going to be coming in third. I'm not going to go into what I went into during our mock because we're getting some hate. Apparently, everyone loves Kyler Murray. I guess we'll just leave it at that. But I think they're coming in third. So I'm just gonna finish that one off.
Why you gotta be so mean, bro?
I wish I had a sound clip of why you gotta be so rude. We'll remember that for the next time.
Yeah.
All right. My hot take. Steelers fans are gonna be upset. Mike Tomlin has his first losing season with Aaron Rodgers under quarterback.
So poetic. That's so poetic. I love that hot take.
I think that it could have gone. I think that either decision that Aaron Rodgers made would have been poetic, right? Because he either follows in the Brett Favre footsteps and goes to Minnesota, goes to the Vikings, or he goes to the Steelers and gives Mike Tomlin his first losing season after many 9-8s, or excuse me, one. You know what I'm trying to say? One win.
One over 500.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, I'm shooting myself in the
maybe
foot
some
here.
10-7 sprinkled in there, but then they'll get their ass handed to them in the wild card.
Watch your profanity.
That's twice. But yeah, man, I really like that hot take. That would put a smile on my face. Because I really do not like Pittsburgh at all.
Yeah, I'm not a Pittsburgh fan.
I am sick of them being like consistently respectable.
Yeah. Shout out to my boy Billy, who's a big Pittsburgh fan. I hope that you're watching, because he's gonna love hearing me shit talk his Steelers. Yeah, lay it on there.
Watch your profanity.
Yeah. Yeah, my uncle too. I hope he gets to watch this because it's gonna be hilarious. Yeah, man, the Steelers, they've just made some really interesting decisions, especially, the wide receiver decisions that they've made are interesting. I'm not going to say they're terrible because I don't hate DK, but the chemistry, I'm curious to see what the chemistry is like for him and Aaron Rodgers. The George Pickens.
Well, here's one thing I'll give Pittsburgh credit for this. They have a knack for drafting the diva receivers. But they are good at getting out in front of that and getting rid of them before it blows up in their face.
That's true. They got rid of Antonio Brown at just the right time.
You had George Pickens, as you just said.
You think he's going to flounder over in Dallas?
It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
Juju hasn't been the same since he's left too. What's their run game looking like over there? I mean, and then
I like Jaylen Warren.
Yeah,
but
that's been up and down too, man. Since James Conner, so,
my boy.
Yeah, I'm not feeling super confident in their offense. They made a weird trade with, in my opinion, with Miami.
For
trading away Minka.
Yeah,
Fitzpatrick
for Jonnu Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just some strange decisions over there. So I'd love to see Aaron Rodgers give Mike Tomlin his first losing season and then retire. I think that would be, like you're saying, super poetic. So alrighty. Well, we are coming into the fourth quarter of our podcast here, and so it is time for our fourth quarter question of the week. So if you guys don't know, our fourth quarter question of the week is a question submitted by our fans. Go ahead, and if you guys do have a question, throw it in underneath one of our posts, and we'll pick it out from you. The Instagram handle is just the 2 Point Perspective. The 2 Point Perspective. Don't forget the.
Same with TikTok. And this question was pulled from TikTok. Instagram was a bit more unserious. So our question of the week comes from Suarez _010_. So thank you for your question. Suarez asks, what are your opinions regarding Shedeur Sanders? Will he have any playing time? Will he shine? Or will the Browns be his downfall? Jared, I will let you take over this first, because I do want to hear. I think you and I have very similar opinions on this. I mean, you and I were watching the draft at work, wondering what is going on.
Yeah,
watching this guy fall
in disbelief.
Yeah,
I can't believe that Pittsburgh didn't pick him up. How many opportunities did they have to draft a young guy and then end up with Aaron Rodgers, who's on his last leg?
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame these teams for not drafting him, considering, you're the off the field stuff, and you already see it too. He's already he got in trouble with the law.
Not Jackson Dart.
Dylan
Gabriel.
Yeah,
they took Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, and he's not better than Shedeur. He's
absolutely not.
But if you're worried about the off the field concerns, and we already saw it, he already ran into trouble with the law, getting pulled over. I mean, that seems to be a trend in the NFL, isn't it? But you're drafting his dad too. His dad's got a mouth on him, but the talent is there. And sorry, I took over.
No, you're good, man. No, you're good. I got some stats, so you're good. Keep on going.
Okay, good. Yeah, analytical. Got the analytics. So I think Shedeur Sanders will be fine. He's in a very crowded quarterback room. So in terms of playing time, I really do not know. I think that's going to be up to him come preseason. He's going to need to earn these reps to climb the ladder of that quarterback room. Will he shine? I think that question and the last one about the Browns being his downfall kind of go hand in hand, because we haven't seen a guy shine there since Baker Mayfield. And even that kind of blew up in the organization's face. So
the organization blew that one up in their own face.
Yeah. That's what I meant. I mean, because you see him go. He was a journeyman, but now he's in Tampa, and he's showing that he's still an elite quarterback.
Yeah, starting quarterback caliber.
So will he shine? Assuming he's starting this year, I don't think he will. And we've talked a lot about bad organizations, mismanagement, and Cleveland is
at the top of the list.
Epitome of just dumpster fire organizations. So,
which is too bad, man, because you see a lot of really great talent kind of filter in and out of there, and then have great seasons with other teams.
Right.
So that it really is unfortunate. What I was going to say is, he's completing about 70% of his passes in camp right now, and he's thrown 0 interceptions. I'm excited to see what he's going to do in the upcoming preseason games. I know that the Browns just named Joe Flacco their starter, but Joe Flacco is, again, he's got one foot out the door, teetering on retirement every single day. So, one more injury, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be cooked. So, I'm excited to see what Shedor's going to do. I think I'm with you, though. I don't think he's going to shine. I think this is a really tough league for rookie quarterbacks. The speed is way different. They're facing much more complex defenses, and I think that he is a little bit cocky, and he's going to have to tone that down a little bit. But I think that'll just happen on its own.
Oh,
I think he's going to get humbled. Yeah, I don't think that he needs to make any changes right now, because it's just going to happen on its own.
I will say, I think he's taking good steps in terms of his humility. I mean, I can't say like verbatim what he said, but he mentioned something about like, I haven't, regarding his dad, he was like, why would he come here? I haven't done anything. I haven't earned anything. Right. Why should my dad come in here,
right.
Pounding the table for whatever it is that he would want. And
I just want to say real quick, we wish him all the best right now as he's dealing with his cancer treatments.
Yes.
So just want to put that out there real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one more thing. Did you see that the Browns signed Teddy Bridgewater?
I did not. When did that happen?
I want to say yesterday, right? Yeah.
Oh, really?
So going back to the quarterback room, that is a crowded room. So
wow.
It's going to be tough for, like you said, he got Flacco. Teddy Bridgewater is a veteran.
I like Teddy Bridgewater, man.
I do too.
I like Teddy Bridgewater a lot.
He's a good veteran piece to have in your room.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't want him starting, but he is a good backup just for an ear for a younger quarterback to be able to come back to the sideline. Hey, what did you see there? Kind of give me your advice.
If the Joe Flacco experiment doesn't work out, then I could see them putting Teddy in there before they put Shedeur in.
Yeah.
It's always better to put in a experienced veteran quarterback over a rookie. So even if the rookie is better, I think letting a rookie quarterback sit for at the very least a year, see what that speed is like, get some more reps in practice, and not take a chance on getting injured and then potentially ruining the rest of their career.
Well, not even like getting injured, just getting like shell shocked from.
Right.
You always bring up Trevor Lawrence
yeah.
as the example of poor dude was back there, and we could see that with Caleb Williams too. You're already seeing he's not having a good camp. When you trot him out there when he's not ready, or you're not putting him in the best position to succeed, you're just stunning his growth.
Mm-hmm.
You're only hindering an asset that you need to evolve.
Right.
So
I've always liked T-Law, but he has had a tough time in Jacksonville, and it's like you said, they put him out there too early, and he had so much raw talent coming into the league, and now he has to unlearn these fears that he has, and that can almost be more difficult than learning to play that position. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well, all right, Jared. Is that all we have for the premiere episode of the 2 Point Perspective? Is there anything you want to say?
Just go like and follow our pages. Instagram, TikTok, and you can find us anywhere that you find podcasts. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we'll be on Podbean as well. If you guys want to see the video, we'll be on YouTube. So we have our own YouTube channel, the 2 Point Perspective. Again, don't forget the. I noticed a couple times when we were trying to search that 2 Point Perspective did not come up. So make sure that you guys throw the in there. And we just thank you guys so much for listening. So
yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, I'll echo what Jared just said. Make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe, and join the roster.